Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into another episode of OPES. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our awesome content. And if you want to support the channel even more, be sure to check out our Patreon for extra episodes and exclusive content. Links in the description. Thanks for listening and let's jump in, baby.
You know what time it is. Welcome back. It's 2025, and now you're here with the greatest. That's right. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. With your host Trekkie and Shrew. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. Welcome to the show. Now your mind gets to blowing. Trisha got the guest, Trekkie got the flowing. Take you back to school for the fact you wasn't knowing. This ain't your normal pod, just a simple act of God, just a congregation of brilliance in a world of facades. Interviews with peoples of all different walks. Comedy, intelligence is used in every talk. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories.
Yeah, you mentioned about May the 4th, the big Star Wars day. I know we're talking about the other thing later in the episode, but why are you so excited for May the 4th?
Well, everyone knows I love Star Trek, but I gotta have some love for Star Wars too.
Okay.
May the 4th is like everybody knows it's Star Wars Day.
Do you think you can like Star Wars and Star Trek?
Yeah, I mean, as I'm fond of saying, if you don't mind me saying, you know, your dad got the Star Wars Christmas ornaments and I got the Star Trek Christmas ornaments. I love Star Trek, but it's probably more like 51-49. You know,
Interesting. I even think that you had even had it to that scale because I know how much of a Trekkie you were, and I do believe that people can love both. I think if anything, it's apples and oranges. Like you can't really compare them because they're just different.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I hate to say it, but it took till The Mandalorian came out for me to love Star Wars again. Because let's
Hmm.
just say the last three movies, J.J. Abrams, lens flares.
Well, no, and what's I don't know if funny is the word for it though, but like that was I mean something to talk about was specifically uh oh my God. And okay, so it's funny when you talk about J.J. Abrams, the Star Wars and Star Trek because some would say he revitalized Star Trek and but he ruined Star Wars. I Your
Um,
thoughts?
well, I mean, Into Darkness, the second Kelvin timeline movie. I mean, oh, it's not a rematch of Khan. No, it was a rematch of Khan. You just switched some stuff around.
And it wasn't bad. I actually really liked what they did. Like
Oh,
really. Oh, okay. That's
yeah, it's just, oh, I'm not gonna copy it, but I just switched the roles. You know, it had some good about it, but I'm sorry. I think Beyond was still the best. It's just maybe they waited too long to have the third movie and it just underperformed, but Beyond felt
so
really.
you're talking about the third Star Trek movie. That's what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Beyond, the third Star Trek movie.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen that one. So what was that one about?
It's they come across this ancient artifact and they have to fight the person that or the being that has it, and it's just some of it takes place on a space station, and it's just everybody gets their everyone gets their little job. Everybody, there's something about Sulu gets his thing. There's something about the Russian guy, what's his name,
Uh, um,
Anton Yelchin's character.
something these bodies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, and it's fun, and the main cha the alien woman that they meet was just a lot of fun.
Chekhov?
Yeah, Chekhov,
Yeah.
had his Chekhov thing in it. But Sofia Boutella, which I would have never thought would have been such a good actress, was fantastic playing Jayla, and she had great chemistry with Simon Pegg playing Scotty,
Hmm.
and another excuse to play Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. But
That's
it was a lot of fun, and it felt.
he snuck it in the third he's that because I know he did in the
Yeah.
first one. That's all. Okay, I can appreciate that because actually I really I don't know why. Like growing up, when I hear that in a trailer nowadays, I'm just like, it gets me pumped. I'm just like,
Yeah.
go with those the top. Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, did he know them? I mean, why does he always play that in all their movies? But it's a nice Easter egg.
for sure, for sure. Well, okay, and if now we're talking about Star Trek, now go back to Star Wars. You mentioned about what's kind of what made you fall in love back with Star Wars was The Mandalorian, and I totally agree. Part of my issue, I would say, with Star Wars was that it has this gigantic so I guess one of the great things with Star Trek is it's such a big universe, but why are we like really narrowing the story to like a family drama? Like I'm so sick of the Skywalkers, I'm so sick of the Palpatines. Like I like show me the Mandalorian, show me Baby Grogu. Like this looks interesting. And the fact that again, characters where they can have maybe Darth Vader's in the background, but it's like they're not the main focal points.
Maybe that's what Abrams thinks is what the fans wanted. We have to continue this saga. It just going to keep going and going and going. And, maybe they've gone to the well so many times, you can't make the well new anymore. But by having Grogu and the Mandalorian, I'm not current I'm not current on, oh, what's the one that's based on Rogue One?
Is it Rebels? I think.
No, no, not that one. It's because I'm not current on it. That's why I can't think of what it's called. But the one with Diego Luna.
And you sure it's not? Oh, Rebels is the animated one.
No, it's
Yeah.
everyone says how fantastic it is. I'm not current on it. And season one was fantastic. And maybe you've gone to the well so many times it's not fresh anymore.
And
Having
or Star Wars
and or
Andor.
yeah, and or exploring these new characters is making it exciting again.
Yeah.
It's putting new blood into it instead of just trying to keep the body alive.
I know, and again, I cannot stress that enough because like that's again, I think part of the issue I was having is like sometimes it just feels so hollow. Like it's like you said, we're just same old, same old. We're just going back to the well, we're going back with what's familiar instead of trying something new or I don't know, again, can't really compare the two. Totally different beings, though, but I think big enough to where they both can shine if you can tell. Not you can maybe the same story, whatever, but let's use different characters. Let's use different toys. Like we've had these other characters have their story arcs, their redemptions, like their time. Let's give it to somebody else, or see what else we can show other stories with other ones, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, can't beat a dead horse. And
Unless you're J.J. Abrams.
yeah, I think it's time to move on to other characters.
Yeah. It's this might be a fun like way to get like an argument though, but I was talking with my friends and he was rewatching the new trilogy and I agree with him because I no I've been agreeing with his point of view, but he was just mentioning about how he thinks The Last Jedi, the second new one, gets a lot of unnecessary hate.
Yeah, well, that one was just it was hard for us to see Luke so dark. I
Mm.
think that was probably a lot of it. It just seemed uncharacteristic for Luke, and it kind of almost sounds corny, but made me kind of like scared for his soul. It just felt like it didn't feel like his character.
I think for the same reason why you said is why I think I appreciate it is because like characters are supposed to do that. They're either supposed to grow better or grow worse, but I think it's even more of a compelling story when a character, like you said, when we're so familiar with, that's supposed to be like, I mean, if anything, it matches the Skywalker lineage. It's always been a stories of tragedy of these great figures that were supposed to rise to these monumental like statuses of quote unquote restoring the Force only to fail. Anakin as supremely as it did, and now I guess Luke in a sense, really like father, like son. Which again, I can appreciate that. It reminds me of it not to kind of go all over the place. You never saw the new King of the Hill, have you?
No, I still haven't got to see it.
Without spoiling it, there were a lot of a lot of okay, I'm gonna spoil one because if you haven't seen it, like okay, like just watch it. And it's just one episode. Hank gets in. Okay, I gotta prep you. Hank gets into soccer. Like
That's hard to imagine.
okay, thank you. Because at first I was like, it was just like no, no, but that's the point. Exactly. It was originally such an anti-Hank thing to like soccer. The whole story of the new series for Bobby is that the propane gets like a big, huge conglomerate buys Strickland propane, and they send Hank and his wife to Saudi Arabia because apparently there's like this like huge community there where they're selling gas there. And again, it's like he's working for like a mega corporation, but like they don't talk too much about it, just enough. But it's funny because they still have some of their mannerisms that make, Hank Hank and Peggy Peggy. Like Peggy keeps calling it Saudi Arabian. Yeah, yeah, just completely just but like that's just yeah, it's just like I know a little bit of Farsi or whatever they're speaking there.
Arabic.
But he's doing his job at a soccer stadium and he happens to watch it. But he's actually like he's not just making fun of it, he's like actually watching it and it's going back and it's forth and he's picking up like the very complicated rules. Like to us, we're like we don't understand what's a foul, what's this, what's that. But he's like, I get that. And I'm really appreciating the the technicalities and like the rules behind this game. And that comes like almost like his secret shame. Like he's like, Peggy, I'm a soccer referee, or like he's like I'm like something like that. But Peggy's into it because he's like, oh, this is like you're a bad boy, like oh, it's just so dirty. You're into soccer now. But I think it's appropriate because characters, I think, I mean, granted, they can again, everyone freaking always quotes the movie, but it's like Batman, The Dark Knight. You either die a hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I think you either double down on your character and again, it's I'm glad to see who you are. Like you're always still the same, but that gets boring. Things happen. Sometimes the main character loses his house or his wife dies or I'm trying to think something Star Wars related. Sometimes slavers kill your mom and then you go on a genocidal rampage and kill a bunch of women and children. That happens. But because of those things, either people can respond to it in a better way or a negative way. So I mean I understand with Luke, it's like it seems like the golden idol got scuffed, but I think it was just like a matter of time before that would happen. It was cool, but he also made his redemption at the end even better, where he realized that like the Force isn't a temple, it's not the books, it's not the students, it is a living thing that they will constantly be interacting with. And even when they fuck up and even when things happen and all falls apart, they can still like it will still always be. And that's why I like The Last Jedi. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
No, so what I still say though is see you guys watched it one, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah. But see, I started watching it four, five, six. So we have that perfect Luke, that Luke that's earnest and trying to learn from Yoda. And so maybe we have more we have more invested in Luke. So that's why it's hard to see him fall, where you saw it in a different order. You don't That's not as important to you. You don't see it as that much. But it's Hamlet. It's Hamlet. The whole thing is Hamlet.
And very, very, very good point. Actually, that's funny. I wish I connected that with my English teacher because I would say, hey, let's watch this instead of Lion King. This is my argument for because we that's how we would learn to watch Hamlet is we watch The Lion King. So shout out Miss Darling.
$10 shout out.
Sons of Anarchy is based on Hamlet.
100%. Yeah,
You
the
know,
whole the killing the dad and the brother and gets the wife and then 100%. No, I will defend myself. No, we technically watched 4, 5, and 6. I remember because we were watching it on before to like to Disneyland. Like where you actually because I remember the VHSs at the house where it was like the faces of Vader and that. But I do agree with you. I think that might because you guys had, and you mentioned this way before on the call, like the actual call when we weren't doing this about, and again, I'm kind of spoiling the conversation, but with Picard and Star Trek and having those huge time gaps of just like what we're gonna do, you got to marinate in Luke being the hero, and that does make a bit more sense in context because it's like it does seem totally out of character, while to us it just, or at least to me, makes more sense pattern wise because like, well, yeah, his dad did that, and then he's good now, but I mean, I don't know, it's not too, what's it called? Far-fetched for him to mess up like that. Granted, to straight almost killing Kylo Ren, that was like, that's a little premature. You don't think you could like take him on like a lake and be like, "Hey buddy, I sense some darkness in you. You want to talk about it?" Like, I don't know, get some little Jedi therapy. Do Jedi believe in therapy?
I don't think so, but
Probably. Is that why there's so much Sith? Because they just don't go to therapy? Is that what's happening? Is that what really brings balance to the Force is
because
therapy?
Anakin had borderline personality disorder.
Oh God.
No, it's been proven.
It was a child slave. It's
No, no, it's at psychology conferences, World Psychology Symposiums. Papers that have been presented that because of what happened to his mother when he was young and all the trauma, Anakin Skywalker has borderline personality disorder. So see, everyone leaves me. I push
see,
people away and ruin my life because I push people away.
you heard it here, folks. Anakin Skywalker has borderline personality disorder. That might be the title of this episode, by the way. So thank you for that. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Our People Extraordinary Stories, where we talk about Jedi trauma, therapy, Star Trek, Star Wars, the whole thing. I have with here, if you haven't guessed it, it's my mama. It's Maureen. Everyone say hi to my mom. Hi, mom. Ooh.
Hey everyone.
I wanted to do a Mother's Day episode. I've wanted to do this for a minute. I have other ideas for other Mother's Day episodes I had planned, but this was just on my heart, and I feel like a lot of listeners know you. You have a very big personality, whether that's a good or a bad thing, but you are unique, and like you said, Dad got you Star Wars, you got Star Trek. I'd like to think I'm a little happy medium in between. But there were so many times that I have like just like core memories where like I did things like with you where I was like I'm gonna cherish this. I'm gonna value this. I'm gonna tell this to my kids when I have children though. And yeah, I just wanted to just talk nerd out with you. Guys, I don't know if you know this. I remember very vividly my mom, it was either you worked late, you got home late, but I remember it was like 10 or midnight and you're like, "Tristan, do you want to see the movie with the most car crashes?" And I thought it was like a Fast and the Furious movie. I thought it was gonna be something like that, like something like that. And she's like, "No, it's called the Blues Brothers." No expectation what was going on. And there's this music and there's all these black artists, and I'm just like, what's happening? But like it very much defined it. I remember I was dying, falling asleep during the actual end where all the car crashes were happening. But it was just such a cool moment. It meant a lot to me. And yeah, just thanks for playing that little cinema love in me at that young age.
So I'm gonna throw Tristan under the bus
Oh
because what
God.
actually happened is
Oh God.
I didn't home from work until after 3 because I worked so late back then. And Tristan decided to stay up for and wait up for me. And I'm like, well, you're up. Let's watch this cool movie together. But you led me to believe you didn't have school the next day.
Was that
But you did. So since we didn't get to bed till like 5 o'clock or 5:30, I let you stay home that day. But that was yeah. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun to see that movie because it's one of the great films. It's John Landis. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got great actors in it. It's a timeless American film that we all love.
Yeah, so that's why I have her on here, guys. We're going to be talking about movies and shows, some of her comfort films. Maybe you guys always know we do recommendations around here. Definitely, my mama, if you don't know her, is like a living IMDb. Whether you ask for it or not, she will give you movie recommendations or trivia. Again, keyword whether you want it or not. You're getting it. It's happening. Uh, yeah, we got so much to chat about, though. I know we got it. Well, the audience won't be able to tell that we have to chop this up into three pieces, though. But Yeah, we got quite a bit to go over. I know you kind of said I couldn't decide on it. We could talk about John Landis because I mean, why not? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he is excellent. I have learned to appreciate his directing and cinema style. I also, and it's funny, I think my mom just wanted me to watch all of John Landis's movies because I remember another time was sick at home and we watched American Werewolf in London, which was so freaking cool. The werewolf transformation scene and like again, I was this was so strange. I was like, I was sick. But what was sick was the werewolf transition. It was cool. Yeah, that's a weird coincidence, isn't it?
So Rick Baker is the one that did that. Rick Baker basically invented the air bladder effect. That's how they had him growing. It had never been done before. And back then, they did not have an Academy Award for makeup and hairstyling. So he won an honorary award for that. But the transformation sequence is just incredible. And just the score, the soundtrack of songs they put with that,
All Moon songs.
and the story, the mix of horror and comedy. It's just so classic. You have a couple British actors in it that, if you're not familiar with some British films, you know, um, it just was a great cast. It just was a fun mashup of genres, and it worked. Horror and comedy does not, well, of course, Ghostbusters, but horror and comedy, that was before Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Horror and
Yeah.
comedy has not always worked, and it worked, and it's a classic.
So
It's a
good.
classic, and there'll be nothing else like it ever.
Well, so, and it's interesting you brought about that not everyone can do horror and classic because I don't know if you're aware, but a lot of comedy guys are getting into horror and making masterpieces. Like Jordan Peele's the obvious example with Us and Get Out and Nope, which I have to ask, have you seen any of them?
I've only seen Get Out.
Did you like it or just appreciate what it was doing?
Oh, Get Out was incredible, and
Yeah.
I'm not trivializing it, but it still reminds me that it could have been an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Which isn't it hilarious that he also went on to go and do that as well?
And am I the only one that liked what he did? A lot of people didn't like it. It went one season. I give him a big pat on back for trying. He had big shoes to fill. I think he did a great job. But one season was it. I think he's going to do a great job with the new X Files, which I'm really excited about.
Absolutely, 100%. And no, absolutely though. And because there were a lot of episodes that he did, like the very first one, the comedian episode, so good. So good, where Kumail Nanjiani plays a comedian where every time he says like a stand-up bit, like anything like he shares with the audience, then gets taken out of his life. So like he'll make fun of a bully and now the bully's gone. He'll make fun of his girlfriend and now she's out of the picture. It, like you said, had such big shoes to fill, but again, made its own voice or said, hey, this is how we're going to do it here. I can appreciate it. Can appreciate that.
Well, I liked it, and I know you liked it, but sometimes I think we're the three people in the last row.
You know what? Shout out to Jordan Peele.
$10 shout out.
If you happen to be listening to this, thank you. We appreciate all the hard work you've been doing. Excited about the new X-Files. Well, another horror comedy big dude that's come up on there is Zach Krieger. Have you heard about this guy?
I was just reading I haven't seen Weapons yet,
Excellent.
but I was just reading about his new movie, and it sounds exciting. It sounds fun. It sounds fresh.
The Resident Evil
We
or
all Yeah, the new Resident Evil movie. I think I watched the first couple of them, I believe, the Paul W.S. Anderson ones with Mila Jovovich's wife.
Paula San Wait, am I Paula Sanderson or am I getting confused
Paul
with
W.S. Anderson.
okay, because I isn't one of those guys
Paul Thomas Anderson. It's
does
like There Will Be Blood. Paul
okay.
W.S. Anderson did those Resident Evil the old ones, the
No, I
original
remember.
ones.
Like so Mila Jovovich though, the Apocalypse and the
It's her husband. It's her husband. Yeah.
who does the Royal Tenenbaums and Fantastic Tales, Mr. Fox?
Oh, that's Oh, you like him more than I do.
Yeah, I do. It's I'm looking him up now.
God, there's
Wes
that
Anderson.
Wes
Okay.
Anderson, yeah, because there's Paul Thomas Anderson, there's Wes Anderson, and
Oh
there's
my
Paul
God.
W.S.
I
Anderson.
was like, can you imagine like Wes Anderson making a Resident Evil movie? Just like, oh no, how
Well, so
unfortunate.
so I got to give a shout out to one of my favorite little film clips on Saturday Night Live.
$10 shout out.
When Ed Norton was on the show, they did a little film called The Midnight Coterie of Sinister Intruders. And it's if Wes Anderson did a horror film. And it's so fresh. It's hilarious. I know you've seen it, Tristan, because you're nodding your head, but it's just
The moment I brought it up, I was
yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
we were
exactly.
on
Yeah,
the
you know
same
what I'm
page.
talking about.
It's awesome. Man, I feel like most of this episode is just gonna be references. Remember that? Yeah, I remember. I remember that.
Yeah,
You remember
yeah.
that? Yeah. I
Well, you know
remember.
what?
Go ahead.
I did a terrible thing. I forgot when I said you can't make horror and comedy. I totally left out Shaun of the Dead. 'Cause, I mean, Shaun of the Dead is just like the
Man.
greatest film.
And yes, 100%. Especially when I was watching the DVD when it like because it has like a point where every time it did like a reference to horror, it would point it out though. Like in the very beginning when the night after the apocalypse, he wakes up and he touches the mirror and then he sees like the shadow in the shower.
Okay.
That was in reference to American Werewolf in London when John or the main character touches the mirror and then sees his dead friend in the mirror. It's like, oh, hey Dave, like.
See, I didn't even catch that. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, it's again, it's just on DVD stuff. It's but no, yeah, it is. Uh, again, I think maybe it's the timing, or maybe there's some psychological reason behind it though. But the whole like there's so much like people who know how to make people laugh also may know how to make them cry or know how to make them uncomfortable. So maybe there is a secret, like not necessarily horror and comedy, but like people who know one can definitely do the other. So I don't know.
So one thing that Shaun of the Dead has that to me, if there was a movie that did it before, I would mention there's a movie called The Host. It's
Yeah.
June Bong Ho's first film that I ever saw. The Host is about this dysfunctional family, and there's this river monster that jumps out and steals the niece, and the whole family falls apart. But the loser son is the one that saves everybody.
Yeah.
So what makes it interesting, and I'm going to compare The Host to Shaun of the Dead, it's about the horror, but it's about how people behave, how they work with each other, how they rise above their circumstances. And that's what made those movies interesting. This Sean's kind of a bit of I don't want to call him a loser, but he's just kind of going through the motions and taking his girlfriend for granted.
Yeah.
And the zombie apocalypse happens and he becomes a leader.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
transforms him. And in The Host, the oldest son's kind of the college dropout. He's not successful like his siblings. His siblings crumble. He's the one that saves the family. So it's kind of how horror happens, but then how you work with others and how you rise above. That's what makes a good story. Where the
Amen.
host did it with did it with a Korean film, did it with some incredible special effects. Where Shaun of the Dead did it with humor.
I like that. No, I like that a lot actually. And I think that's where I don't know. It's on one side you can get more horror from it though, but also how you balance it, like how it hits harder, is because you have those almost like loving, tender moments though, or like you said, it goes I guess back in the whole like how did the character grow from this?
Yeah.
Like did it grow in a bad way or in a good way? The siblings in the host, you said the successful ones, they crumbled. Eventually they came together and they all used their talents to kind of and that's such a trippy movie, like rewatching it as an adult, especially now how like the government, I think, covered up what happened. They were like dumping formaldehyde down the drain, and they're like, "Oh, it's a plague. It's blah 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 blah." But like, it was just kind of spooky, where you're just like, "Is the government gonna lie to me about this?" And blah blah blah. Just a little spooky, a little, a little strange.
Yeah, that's even more timely now.
We won't comment on it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I'm that's the movie that I discovered with Jun Bong Ho, and it's such a great film. And I remember when I discovered it, you and your sister didn't want to watch it because you thought it was too exhausting to watch.
Yeah,
And it is an exhausting film because it's emotional,
yeah,
but it's a great
absolutely.
film. And I remember just being so excited to see Snowpiercer because I'd been waiting and waiting and waiting for it, and
Snowpiercer was such a cool
it finally
movie.
dropped, and it just everybody knows I talk a lot. I got opinions. After your sister and I watched Snowpiercer, we sat in the waited through all the credits, and we sat there and we couldn't even talk after the film ended. I just was speechless. For that to happen, that's an exceptional film for to leave me speechless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and that's I think another reason, guys, why I had to have her on here though, is because we don't get to do this often. We get to basically talk about how work's going, be exhausted, and not get to get in the gritty on this though. So thanks again, Ma, for stopping by. This has been really nice just doing this.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
I brought up John Landis because I was going to bring up like his controversy about the Twilight Zone
Yeah.
movie. Like, we don't have to talk about that, but do you want to go back to that? Or you want to talk about something else?
I don't know. It's kind of like Woody Allen with me. One of my a couple of his movies are some of my favorite films. I hate the man, but it's hard for me to not enjoy a couple of his movies are just like Radio Days and Midnight in Paris are two of my absolute favorite movies. And it's kind of like with John Landis. He overreached.
Yeah.
He was trying to do too much, and it was a night shoot, and it wasn't safe, and he shouldn't have had kids. You don't have he could have been fined. You don't have kids acting after midnight. He had kids, and it was a horrible thing that happened. And I feel like because he was such a big director at the time, things kind of got brushed under the rug. I kind of felt like I didn't really. I feel like I kind of put in a little box and didn't think about it for a long time. But what he
Mm,
did was wrong. And yeah, it did hurt his career.
I
He
did.
didn't do anything for a while after Burke and Harris, the last movie that he did that I know of.
Oh
Um,
God, yeah.
it's about the grave robbers, about the resurrectionists.
Yeah.
Wasn't a very good film, though it had Simon Pegg and Andy Serkis, but it really hurt his career. And you know, what happened happened.
And to anyone else who doesn't know what we're talking about, though, so yeah, we'll go back to John Landis. I brought him up though. Is again, guy makes excellent films. Probably made some of the most iconic 80 movies of all time, though. Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London, Trading Places, Into the Night, Twilight Zone, Spies Like Us, Three Amigos, Coming to
Animal House,
America,
Animal
Animal
House.
House. Yeah, the man has made a banger after banger, and in a sense that makes sense. I guess when you have such a killer career like that, you don't think again, hey, and so what she's also referencing is I believe it was during the Twilight Zone movie, right? It was
Yeah.
during Twilight Zone movie where I guess they were shooting a helicopter scene or something, and there was some type of a crash where it killed,
Vic Morrow and two child actors. Vic
yeah.
Morrow is Jennifer Jason Leigh's dad.
Okay, Nick Morrow. I'm trying to see like if he was even in the movie, like,
He did a lot of stuff in 50s and 60s, kind of played heavy types.
yeah. What was his name again? Nick Morrow?
Vic Morrow.
D is in Dick or N is in
Vic,
Nancy?
V is in Victor.
Oh,
Vic.
Vic Morrow. Okay.
Vic Morrow.
Yeah. Oh, that guy. Oh, damn, that guy. The
Yeah, yeah,
racist. So yeah, that was a crazy, crazy one because that was not a adaptation. That was a what's it called? That was an original episode that
yeah,
they did, that segment, right?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Time out. Yep, Vic Morrow. Yeah, so that happened, and like my mom said, it was true because of the issue there kind of got him in trouble, just stop making as many movies as he has. Funny enough, I mean, not technically. There was just a 2-year gap between Twilight Zone to Into the Night and Spies Like Us 1985, and then he just kept going from 85 to 98 and then randomly made like another movie in 2010. So that was the film gap, was 98 to 2010. But looks like he was also then doing bit pieces in acting and maybe some television. Very, very interesting. Just looking at his
Well,
IMDb.
he wrote that book. I don't remember if you got it from me or sister got it from me, but he wrote that incredible book called Monsters that was based on different genre monsters from horror
I
films.
think you have that was the one that had like it again talked about like giant monster horror, satanic horror, alien horror, like that one.
Yeah, but then he had I don't remember the name of the film archive, but he had access to a film archive
Hmm.
of thousands and thousands of pictures from film. And then each chapter, he interviewed someone that made horror movies like Joe Dante
Yeah.
from Gremlins or Guillermo del Toro. And it just became one of my favorite coffee table books. And it's a book I'm always going to really treasure because it's just an incredible thing that he wrote that no one else could write but him.
Exactly.
He's kind of
Exactly.
he's kind of almost like Peter Bogdanovich. Peter Bogdanovich was a director. He had some flaws, but he kind of became an elder statesman for film history. And I feel like
Hmm.
John Landis kind of took on that role after he stopped kind of directing. You never see him without a tie. He's always got the tie on and a jacket. And, he's kind of become an elder statesman and it's maybe not what he wanted to end up doing for the rest of his life, but I appreciate what he's doing.
Yeah. No, and I get with you there too. And it's again, and just I cannot stress enough. The man's got so many good movies. You guys haven't seen it. And just you throw it, what is he? Swing a dead cat and you'll hit something. The Twilight Zone movie. Oh my gosh, and that was besides learning the history behind that though, rewatching it and just appreciating all the segments behind it though. I mean, granted, a lot of them were just reshoots of the other episodes, but done in a way that was just so. You have you ever uh heard of the YouTube channel Red Letter Media?
I think so.
You need I'll send you some stuff. They're just they're a bunch of film geeks from Wisconsin. They're kind of like our generation's like what's the word? Siskel and Ebert. Is that the famous movie critic
Yeah,
guys?
yeah.
Yeah. Exclusively on YouTube though, but they cover just all kinds of directors and different movies, but also like where's cinema going? Are we losing it in the theaters though? And they always do like a director top 20 or like top films of said director. They did one for Carpenter, Joe Dante, Sam Raimi was the recent one they did and just kind of broke up like why like it was their favorite though. But just real not realizing how much like I like Joe Dante. Like I I wish he made more movies. I didn't realize when you showed me the Looney Tunes back in action, I didn't realize that was him.
Well, Joe Dante is, I feel like he's underappreciated. Not everything he does has had as much commercial appeal. Of course, everyone loves Gremlins, but hey, people, Gremlins 2 is very different, but it
Yeah.
says a lot about politics and business in our society,
Hmm.
and it's probably due for a rewatch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will say that's something where I need to absolutely see that as well because I've heard nothing but like again like if you appreciate film and movies and how they describe things, so again, it's also just such a treat.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how much time we got left, by the way. Got less than a minute. Okay, so it's gonna crash. I love you very much. It's been fun. I just want you to think where you want to go. We have your comfort movies. I think maybe that we can get into
Yeah, maybe we should
comfort
do that.
movies, and then yeah, I think that we'll just keep going from there. Okay. We talked just a lot about everything, stories, movies I have particularly fond memories about. We were talking about comfort movies. Now, I think these are different than like your favorite movies. I think your favorite movie, I think, can be maybe movies that are your favorite. You don't watch all the time. You once watch in a while because they're that good, but you don't want to keep burn them out. Comfort movies are maybe just like movies that you're like, they're a sweet treat. I leave them in the back. I can play it in the dentist's office, and it can just play all the time, and I'm okay with watching a jillion times. I know you have some comfort movies. They're kind of a lot more different than I think people would think what a comfort movie is. Why don't you feel free to tell us what some of your comfort movies are?
Well, In Bruges is one of my favorite comfort movies, and that's not a movie you're going to watch in the dentist's office. I think it sets a record for the F word. but
Wonderful.
it's a great film. It's a Martin McDonagh film. Domhnall Gleeson and oh God, what's that Irish? They're in the Banshees of Inisherin. Colin Farrell are in it.
Yeah.
As also an actor from Clemence Posey from Harry Potter's in it,
Yeah.
and it's just a great film.
And Ralph Fiennes is in it.
Ray Fiennes is in it, so you got two people from Harry Potter. These two guys are hitmen, and they botch their job, so their boss sends them to Bruges, Belgium, to kind of chill out and figure out what's going to happen next. And it's kind of what happens there, and it's a film for adults. It's violent. It's there's lots of swear words in it, but it's a great story. It's a great character story. You've got one of the most beautiful medieval cities in Belgium, in Europe, the backdrop, and you have a exquisite Carter Burwell score. Carter Burwell scores a lot of stuff for the Coen brothers also. You've got a beautiful score that just complements what's happening, and it's just a great film for adults, but it is not for everybody. It is violent, but it's just a great story.
So why do you think then that's a comfort movie then for you? Because it sounds pretty rough then.
Well, I think it's just because the whole package, it's Bruges, Belgium is it's a medieval city. There's places there that date back from the 6th century. You've got the canals. You've got this juxtaposition of this beauty and then this ugly story. Domhnall Gleeson, or not, I'm sorry, Brendan Gleeson's character gets really into the history and touring the city. And Colin Farrell,
Is that the Mad Eye Moody?
Mad Eye Moody, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And Colin Feller wants to do anything else but fucking be there.
exactly. And it's the duality of them back and forth, and it's just you have this beautiful, exquisite city, and then you have this violence, and it's a nice play off of each other, and it's a movie that really makes you think. I'm not going to give anything away, but I've always wondered what really happens at the end, because
Ambiguous.
the end is ambiguous, and I've read some things on it, and I'm glad it turns out how it does, but I've always kind of wondered what happened. But it's a great story, and it's just so well written. Martin McDonagh has written some great film, and it's also one of those movies, because I've seen it so many times, and it has great dialogue, and it has that great music. You could put it on and do dishes. You could put it on, listen to it while you load the dishwasher. It's I kind of know what to expect. I think that's what it is. I've seen it so many times. I know what to expect. That's what a comfort movie is. It delivers the goods.
I like
Sometimes it
that.
doesn't have to be a happy, nice movie. I have my happy, nice movie for a comfort movie, but this is one that's just, I kind of know what to expect,
Yeah.
and it's a great story. And the score, Carter Bilwell is really heavy on the piano, and it starts out, and as things start to go wrong, the score gets discord, and it's a nice juxtaposition. It's just I recommend anyone that's open-minded that can handle some violence and some swearing to see In Bruges. It's a great film.
Okay. You hear it here, folks. Let's check out In Bruges. And if anything, I'm gonna try re-listening to it with the soundtrack in mind and see if I can kind of get the same thing that you're talking about, though. No, and I mean, and I think you kind of labeled it. I think that's a comfort movie, is one that you know what's coming toward it. And I have a question for later, but what about another one? What's another maybe comfort
No,
movie that you have?
my other comfort movie is the opposite end of the spectrum, but it's one of Taika Waititi's early films. I don't know if you say The Hunt for Wilder People, or you call it For Hunt the Wilder People, like a wildebeest.
I thought it was
But
Wilder personally, but keep
that's
going.
what I think too. But it's this great film about this kid. He's Maori. I don't know, he's like 12. He's not a bad kid. He's mischievous.
He's a teenager. He's a preteen.
He's a teenager. He keeps getting kicked out of foster homes. Ends up with this couple that lives in the bush. In Australia, it's the outback, and New Zealand, it's the bush. And they kind of are self sufficient, and he starts to really thrive there and do well. with this couple. She's part Maori, and they hunt what they eat what they hunt, and it's some work, and he just seems to thrive.
Seems to
Well,
thrive and then eventually get threatened to get him taken back into the system. And he's like, absolutely not. I finally got a taste of what a family feels like. I actually enjoy this. And then shenanigans happens.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's just, because it's a New Zealand film, the pop music in the soundtrack is stuff we've never heard of. So the music's a little different, but it works with the film. It's got comedy, it's got action, it's adventure because they're going through the bush, and Sam Neill's character is kind of the grouchy puss, and he kind of this kid makes a difference in his life, and it's a great film. It's kind of just like it hits all those marks, and but it's also something that teenagers could probably see too because it's not really that offensive.
absolutely. The song Majestical is such a bop. Like it's the car chase scene when they're running from the cops.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I moment I heard, I'm like, this soundtrack rocks. I also never realized about like Sam Neill. Just like at first, I didn't realize he's from New Zealand, but I'm also learning to appreciate him because I'm also seeing him in a lot of like horror. Uh,
Oh, in the Mouth of Madness, John
and-
Carpenter. Yeah.
which oh my God, I don't know if I told you. I started me and Matt started watching. He's the editor for everyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about. We started watching a bunch of John Carpenter movies, and I've never seen that in Prince of Darkness, and easily those jumped up to like one of my top five for sure. It was so good, so fun, and I also appreciate him and what's that? We travel through hell space movie, where we're going. We don't need eyes. Event Horizon. He was good in
Oh,
that as well.
I've been afraid to see Event Horizon. Rick keeps talking about it. I haven't been able to handle it
I
yet.
think you'll be fine. Like there's much worse stuff out there now that I'd be like, this one might be a little rough. There might be even stuff I might recommend you to watch out that's definitely more rough than Event Horizon. I appreciate the guy. So no, excellent movie. In Bruges, you got your kind of like bit more complicated story, bit more what's the term? The juxtaposition of just like their business, the kind of fast, heavy hitting assassin business in this old, boring as heck town with a bunch of swearing and potential will they, won't they murder them kind of vibes to this, again, maybe another complex story where it's about a kid, again, who's just like on the surface, you're like, oh, he's just a bad kid. That kid's just an asshole, you know? But in reality, maybe he's got a heart, maybe he just doesn't have the right people feeding into him. He gets a taste of it, and then he gets it threatened to get taken away from him. And like I said, then shenanigans ensue. So I'm really seeing the kind of you very like more kind of in-depth movies, like not shading anyone who likes their comfort movie like Back to the Future or Madagascar though. But it just sounds like you kind of like yours is a bit more deeper surface. That makes sense.
Yeah, and you know what? And without saying it's sweet without being corny.
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
because it's New Zealand, maybe because it has a different soundtrack, maybe because it has Sam Neill, it has some Maori culture in it. It has some beautiful shots of the bush in New Zealand. It's just it's a nice little film that makes you feel good without feeling like you were taken.
Yeah.
Like it's not, no offense, it's not a Disney movie. It's a sweet adventure film without being a Disney movie. You don't feel like,
It's not cheesy. It's not corny. It's not just like, oh
exactly. Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
It's not hitting the beats. It's like, and for anyone, it's the kid from Deadpool 2. He plays what would be the big bad, but they go back in time and they have to kill the kid so he doesn't become the big bad. If you haven't seen it, it's not bad. It's not bad, especially if you like the actor. It's
I
good.
think his name is Julian Temple,
I think so. I
and
think
this
you're
is his
right.
first film, and
Knocks it out
he
the
holds
park.
his own with Sam Neill. He is fantastic in this movie. This kid is just like, where did this kid come from?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So.
And he makes the movie too.
So we say in Bruges and Hunt for Wilder People. Maureen says, and Tristan says, check it out. 10 out of 10, we love it. Do you have one more? I think maybe you have another.
Yeah, I one more, and I had a really hard time deciding on this. We talked about the Blues Brothers already. That's one we talked about it already, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna piss some people off, but I love Midnight in Paris by Woody Allen.
Okay, okay. And I might edit this, I probably might not. I know your other answer would have been uh No Country for Old Men, and we can talk
I
about that
thought
later.
I want to do No Country for Old Men and True Grit after, so we can do some West talk about westerns a little.
For sure. But
That's why I split it like that.
no, no. If anything,
If
that's
that's
a very
okay.
controversial topic.
Yeah.
Midnight in Paris. First share and gush, and we'll talk. We'll talk more. Keep going.
So Midnight in Paris, I think the first time I saw it, I was sick. So it kind of became my movie I watch when I'm sick. Got to the point when I lived with your sister and we had the townhouse apartment. She would hear the intro music, which was Sidney Bechet playing this fabulous jazz. And she would hear the first three notes. She's like, Mom, are you watching that movie again? But it's just such a actually, I know he won an Academy Award for the screenplay. I think it made more money than any of his movies in a long time, Midnight in Paris, but it's about that this guy's a writer. He's in Paris with his fiance and his in-laws. I don't know why he's with this woman. They seem so ill-suited for each other. He's working on the Great American Novel, and they do a wine tasting. She goes off with a friend she meets from college and his wife, played by a fabulous Michael Sheen. And he ends up wandering around, and he midnight happens, and this old car picks him up, and he goes to a bar, and he meets Ernest Hemingway, and played by a fabulous Corey Stoll with a toupee, but he's just everything you think of Hemingway as a young man. And he ends up getting his novel critiqued by Gertrude Stein, and he meets Picasso, and he meets Salvador Dali, and it's just maybe having a friend in college that was an English major, and she made me read all those Lost Generation writers. It just seemed like such an exciting time to be in France, and just feel this guy's excitement. And you think, that would have been a great time to be in Paris. And the whole thing about they have something they call it in the movie with that, that would be happy if you lived in another time. We all
Mm,
think about that sometimes.
absolutely.
Would we be happy if we lived in a different time? The woman that he meets, uh, she would rather be during La Belle Epoque, during the time of Moulin Rouge. That's her golden time.
Hmm.
You know, um, it would be great to be in Paris then, but on the other hand, the Nazis would be there in less than 10 years. Did you really want to live in Paris during the
Yeah,
Nazi occupation?
exactly.
No.
All this parties and then the Nazis shopping. Like, you guys are really bumming us out, man. Come on.
But it's a fun film. It's a fun film for smart people. I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like a snob, but it's nice to watch a movie that has all those literary references that because you read that stuff in college. So it's a comfort film, but it's kind of like it's revisiting. It still makes me think of my college times, even though it takes place in France and it takes place, during between World War I, World War II. But it's a fun film. Woody Allen's not in it.
That's a secret.
Owen Wilson plays the Woody Allen type character, and Rachel McAdams is so great as his fiance, who's kind of a self-absorbed, what. And it's a fun film. They have a great cast. Oh my gosh. Adrian Brody does the best Salvador Dali. Well, he says rhinoceros. It's fun. It's fun, but
Rhinoceros.
it's fun. It's a comfort movie if you're a little more intellect.
Yeah,
There
for
I said.
sure. Well, no, and okay, so, and I love the way you describe it. And would you even say Owen Wilson's character, the main character, does he also long for that time? Like he kind of wants, like the time he's going back to, he's like, this is as perfect as I can go. It's like if I went back to LA in the like lower 80s, like the high 70s to 80s, where all those like metal heads, like Dio and Black Sabbath was playing, like that would be like my oh my God, this is this is the time I would be in. This would be it right here. Like, was that his time? You would say, like, when he went
Oh yeah,
back?
exactly. That's why the book that he's writing is about a guy that works in an antique shop,
Yeah.
and his fiance thinks it has no validity. I guess he makes all his money polishing scores or polishing scripts.
Oh, so
He's
not
written a
even
couple
his own
scripts for
work, just like
Hollywood.
making other stuff
He's
bit
cleaned some
better.
stuff up. Yeah, yeah, and that's why he's making his money, but he doesn't feel fulfilled. He's trying to write the great American novel because all the lost generation writers, those people, they wanted to write the great American paint and write the great American novel. All those people, that's kind of was an era. That was an
Yeah.
era. My dad was part of the greatest generation. That's what they wanted to do. That was their to write the novel, to paint. And you've got the painters in there, and you've got the writers, and it was just fun to see them all young and together, and yeah, they really did all not have Scott Fitzgerald, who is fabulously played by Tom Hiddleston. Alison Pill plays Zelda. It's just so fun to see them come alive and just maybe that's what's like. You read these books, you think of these people, but you see them alive that are on the screen in their element, and it's kind of fun. It's if one is violence and one is sweet, this is intellectual fun.
I no, I love that, and it and I don't know if you're aware, but anyone that's YouTube illiterate can go into some type of comment section for just again any song and or like this was definitely like the case I would want to say in maybe like the 2010s YouTube. You'll occasionally see them now, but like from 2010s onward, you'll see like people saying like I was born in the wrong generation. But like again, people who are like I should have been born before when I appreciate this kind of music though. And people really feel that. People really feel like again, like either out of their generation and it sucks with Woody Allen is he is such an artist. Like the man knows story and characters and knows how to make a really good movie, but ew,
Brother,
gross, ew, UGLY, he's got
what's
no
that?
alibi. He's ugly. He's
What's that, brother?
bad. Like, can you, I guess, like, what I'm asking is, can you truly separate the art from the artist?
You know, if I'm going to go to hell for it,
Oh
I
God,
put
Mom.
it in I put it. It's in two different boxes. It's in two different boxes. I don't agree, or maybe just because I like there's other movies his I like, but I'll say I only like Radio Days and this one the best. Justifies me liking his films. Oh well, Blue Jasmine's fabulous too. Blue Jasmine is a remake of oh god that Marlon Brando film that takes place in New Orleans. Oh,
Streetcar Named
I'm
Desire?
sorry, Streetcar. Yeah, Blue Jasmine's kind of a remake of Streetcar,
Hmm.
but he writes great, and the thing is, it's so weird. Not Midnight in Paris, but definitely Blue Jasmine, and definitely I'd say more Radio Days. Writes great parts for women. Women have won
Hmm.
Academy Awards in his for actress or supporting actress for his films. I don't know how that happens. I that's why they're in separate boxes. I don't agree with him. I don't like him. But I'm sorry, a couple of his movies, it's a nostalgia thing. Radio Days is a great nostalgic film about a big Jewish family in a big house in Brooklyn during the Depression. My mom during the Depression, and they weren't Jewish and they didn't live in a big house. They lived in Fresno and grew peaches. But just how everybody revolved around the radio and that whole thing that just joined everyone together in one thing. We don't really have that anymore, that someone joins us, one thing unites us in one household together. And it's the nostalgia thing. The whole
No,
thing is the nostalgia
and well, it's funny. I think both of it touches a bit on nostalgia as far as like, nostalgia for the books you read in college or nostalgia for maybe a time where, your mom was growing up. But no, there is something kind of, I mean, cute about it, and it sucks. And again, to kind of, I'm not trying to be overly dramatic to some people because some people are like, oh boy, like yeah, it, it I think there's some documentary on HBO that like covers like his. So anyone who doesn't know, Woody Allen is a famous actor, comedian, director who was made a bunch of good art, but also I think, well, I even think married his adopted daughter
Brother, ugh,
after she turned
Yes.
18.
ugh.
Very sketch. Again, I might want to watch the documentary to get my own take on it though, because it doesn't feel good, and it also doesn't help to find out how close. I don't know if you were aware of this, Mom. He was also very close with Epstein.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Like
It
they would
doesn't
hang
surprise
out.
me at
Well,
all.
apparently they were like neighbors. They were very, very close neighbors though. And I think he was even talking about when uh s- think Woody Allen was having like another like I'm gonna do a stand up like Seinfeld released his hour, I'm gonna release a new hour, and I might have like Jon Stewart narrate it or something though. But that was like Epstein's idea though. So it sucks because it's like for somebody that can know humanity or at least can really show a very human depiction on cinema and film to also be such a scumbag, it's difficult. Only thing I can think about is R. Kelly. Oh God, that guy sucks. He's awful, but also made a lot of really good R&B bops, like really, really good stuff. So I think I'll if we can agree to disagree, is that we'll just everyone can have their own opinion on it, and whether they agree or don't agree, I don't blame them because sometimes some really dark, messed up people can make the best art, and some people it's like, yeah, I'd rather not support that scumbag. I'm good. So.
Yeah, and I know, and that makes me a hypocrite because I would never listen to R. Kelly, but that style of music is not as important to me as film. And I feel like, yeah, I guess I have to agree to disagree because I'm a horrible person for liking Woody Allen. He did some horrible things, but
Hey, you like
I
what you
just can't
like.
I can't let, yeah, I like what I like. I can't let the talent go.
And what sucks is okay, I'll admit, so I've seen Wilder People, I've seen In Bruges, but I saw it at a time where same thing was always on in our house, where it was like, and maybe I saw it front to back, but or maybe I remember like walking away and doing something else and then coming back and then it was still ending or still going through. But yeah, just one of those things where I remember it as if it was like a Saturday morning kind of thing. Somebody was making breakfast, somebody was on the computer, and for some reason, In Bruges was just on in the background. So that's definitely something I want to rewatch. But Midnight in Paris, the way she described Radio Days, I know I'm going back and forth with different movies, but she was right though. Radio Days has this just charm like it feels like that antique. Like you're going to this yeah, I was to say the antique show or just like try to think what another stores that have that kind of stuff like old stuff for sale. Is it just an antique shop? Is that just what it's called? Isn't there like another name for that?
Nostalgia, they call nostalgia stores
Nostalgia
in Midnight in
stores.
Paris.
Anyways, it makes sense because it's this like cute little time capsule of like we're never gonna get this again, or like this was its own special thing. I happen to think Sopranos is a great example for like the early 2000s, like rewatching it and just be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that, or like, oh, that's how, but that's just how it was at the time. So with the Radio Days, again, it has this like mystique of the 20s where like again, there are people suffering, there are people start,
No, no, no. Sorry, I gotta interrupt you.
sorry.
No, not the 20s. It's actually the war has just started.
Oh, so it's the
So it's gonna be like
40s?
41.
I
41. Well, also, yeah. So 41, late 30s.
sorry everybody, I'm full of shit. My mom called me on it. Thank you. It's really good is what I'm getting at. It's really, really, really good. It stars a baby Seth Green as what the character would be of Woody Allen, but it was fun. I remember putting it on and I know it passes the Britney test. Like if I can get Britney to watch it and she not hate it, then yeah, it's a good movie. It's because I feel like if I told her, she'd be like, but again, it has this charm to it. So I'll say, yeah, definitely watch Radio Days. And it sucks that Woody Allen also has other good movies too. What was the his famous romantic comedy one?
Oh, anyhow.
Annie Hall. I watched that with a girl I went on a date with when me and Britt were broken up, and that movie just hit on so many other like levels, layers because it's also about relationships and breaking up, but still loving and caring about those people you broke up with. Like it was, yeah, yeah. Again for a director to make such good stuff and be a creep is really difficult because I'm definitely going to watch Midnight in Paris. It sounds awesome, and I don't want to spoil it, but doesn't like the fiance, whatever her name was, Rachel McAdams, doesn't she have like she doesn't have like a time zone thing, like a back in time thing, but doesn't she like meet somebody and her walks in Paris or something?
Kind of, sort of, but yeah, she's lacking in imagination enough to not go back in time.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I don't want to give it away, but yeah, she's still looking. I think she's engaged to this guy, but sometimes I think she's still looking.
It, so again, Maureen and Tristan says Midnight in Paris. Uh, uh, Woody Allen's a scumbag. We say check it out, watch it, watch the
Oh, and you
movies.
know what? I want to add something. Midnight in Paris opened me up to jazz. Not
Okay.
like not like elevator music jazz, but like old time 30s jazz. The Sidney Bechet piece that they used to the opening is shots of Paris from morning to midnight. And they play this great Sidney Bechet piece, and it's just like this jazz with these shots of Paris. It's just so beautiful. It's like in Bruges. It's the music is the perfect thing for the scene, and it just works, and it just sucks you in. That's how it gets you in the movie. It sucks you in the opening credits.
What's your IMDb username?
Oh, what do you mean? You guys used to call me International Mom Database.
Something like that. Well, no, if you have like an account on IMDb where you like make reviews or something, or do you not have an account on there?
I have never put an account on, and I probably should
For as an oh my
because
God.
because there's things I know that no one. Okay, so I'm gonna bring something up
Go
because I
go
think
go
it's my
nuts.
best example of something that I got that no other critics got, and I've never read about it anywhere else. So there's this weird little film called Gentleman Bronco. It's Jared Hess who directed Napoleon Dynamite. It's his third film. It's about this kid that's homeschooled in rural Utah. I don't know if it's supposed to be the 80s. Nobody dresses like that nowadays.
Yeah.
This kid, he has a single mom. They don't have a lot of money, but he's homeschooled and he writes. He writes these science fiction books.
But like
Well,
these like 80s, 70s science fiction books where it's just
yeah, very
like
classic science fiction 60s.
fantastical
Um,
almost, just kind of
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So he writes, his mom sends him to this writer's camp. This writer's camp is for homeschooled kids that are creative writers. And the guy that's in charge of it, that's putting on the head speaker, the science fiction writer. Well, he hasn't had a hit in a while. Still, it's this kid's story. Later on, this family does not have a lot. They struggle. Someone, a young man and a young woman he meets at the camp offered to buy his story so they can make it to a movie. So the thing is, you see the story called Yeast Lords. You see it from Benji's point of view. You see it from the writer's point of view that's putting on the camp.
Right.
You see it from the two kids that want to make it into a movie's point of view. Did anyone think about the movie Rashomon?
Oh,
Akira Kurosawa wrote this incredible film. Um, I think it's after the Seven Samurai, but it's about this woman gets assaulted, this noble woman. And then the story's told from four different points of view because when something happens, everyone sees it in a different point of view.
right. It
And
goes
I
her
feel like
point, her husband's point, the samurai bandit that attempts to
and then
assault her's point, and then the truth. But even the truth
oh
is
no, there's
kind
a
of
witness.
like,
There's a
oh,
witness.
sorry,
Yeah,
the witness. Okay,
exactly.
but exactly, it's everyone has their own point of view, and I mean, so funny. I actually saw that last year, and it was. I mean, it's funny when you watch like what's like considered like the goats of things of like, oh man, like this really was that good, or like this really did live up to the hype though. Rashomon, like you said, is the kind of story where it's been done 1,000 times in every TV show you can think about. Of the whole like, oh, it's the whodunit case, well, let's bring in the first witness and then the second witness. It's like, okay, well, now we're going to bring the third, or we're actually like, guys, this is what actually happened. It was great. But to think to leak that to Gentlemen Broncos, yeah, that's I, bravo, bravo. Okay.
But the thing is, why did no other critics get it? I mean, to me, it's so obvious that
Probably because
it's the
weirdos haven't
Rashomon
seen.
thing.
Probably because no one's seen Gentlemen Broncos because it's a weird movie. It's a weird
You know what?
movie.
So all my friends, shout out for you, David, out there.
$10 shout out.
Shout out to David.
It's my coolness. It's my coolness test factor movie.
Okay.
If you've seen it, if you get it, I still love you if you don't. But
Okay.
it's kind of, and that's how I met this really good friend of mine, David, that's introduced me to all these cool people that I just love in Pennsylvania. We bonded over at Gentleman Broncos, and he saw it and he got it and he knows it. So it's just, yeah, I really need to register on IMBD so I can put my opinions out there since I have so many.
Well, it's funny, people aren't even using IMDb anymore. I don't know if you were familiar with the Letterbox app. A lot of people are using that.
I don't know that one.
It's the new thing where people are essentially cataloging like the movies they watch and then like can rank them on it though. It's just another app. A lot of people nowadays who are getting into film are just using that instead though, because it's just able to be it's for like film geeks like my age and younger to be like, oh hey, I'm trying to find someone that either has similar movie tastes or like I can either make fun of them or relate with them because oh, that's your top 10. Wow. Have you even seen Rashomon? Like that kind of thing. It's like half gatekeeping, half like it was meant to like join people together, but also people are just like, yeah, let's also hate people's movie taste for it though. So yeah, maybe
Well,
don't use
see,
it.
I just like IMBD because, any any Coen Brothers film, you will understand it so much more if you read the trivia on IMBD first. I
Interesting.
saw Barton Fink 3 times and I still didn't get it. But after I read the trivia on International Movie Database, I'm like, get it.
You know what's funny? Me and Britt like to do that too when we watch like a movie, like a horror movie, and like there's like a little bit we don't miss. Um, you could try this if you want. You might just be fine just doing the IMDb, but it's really good if you type in like the movie and then Reddit afterwards. You'll usually find like a thread or like a post of people like a long bunch of comments. And again, some people's takes on it are really like, oh, I never connected that to, or oh, I also saw that too, or it's just fun for like I said when you miss those little Easter eggs where you're just like, oh my God, I never noticed, or oh my God, I never saw that. So a lot of fun doing that kind of thing.
Well, it sounds like something I need to check out. I need to definitely check it out.
Definitely for we are about 5 minutes in. I think this is the time like when we come back, we'll go into like westerns and Star Trek if we have time. With
Okay.
just the 5 minutes we have left, do you feel like you got all the out of the comfort
Oh
movies?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I got to do a shout out for my friend David, and I got, I love Gentleman Broncos.
Oh
It's such
no.
a strange little film that I just adore.
And it's and that's I'm definitely not editing out though. No, I think it's also a movie not enough people saw it. My shout out to my friend Max,
$10 shout out.
who he told me again, like he was so into Nacho Libre and Napoleon Dynamite to not have seen that. Like, dude, you're missing out. Again, it's just a fun, weird little movie. Like it's Jennifer Coolidge is this like again like oh my God like
Oh,
it's
Jennifer Coolidge is fantastic in it.
she's excellent. She's again it's this weird Utah homeschool. It vibes and just the right frequency of being weird and unique. And again, I love the Rashomon comparison because yet you really do see all those three different stories though, and
Yeah.
it's it's
Well, and Mike White, the White Lotus. Mike White is in. Maybe that's how she ended up in White Lotus because Mike White is a character in Gentleman Broncos.
is that the guy who plays
He's
his like
Dusty
he's yeah
with the
Dusty
snake,
yeah does
with the big snake. Yeah.
yeah is he he's a director isn't he? He's like a director and an actor, right?
Yeah, yeah, he played Ned Smeadley
Yeah,
in
in School of
School of
Rock.
Rock,
Yeah.
and then he was Dusty
I
in.
didn't realize that he created and directed White Lotus. Good for
Oh
him.
yeah, he correct. Yeah, and I have not finished. I never finished the last season, but The first two seasons are fantastic.
Good for
And a
him.
lot of people in the White Lotus have gone on to bigger and better things.
That's funny.
So he's really good at with the casting, with discovering stuff. Yeah, I want to go into the talk about True Grit and then No Country for Old Men and segue into the Coens, if that's okay.
Okay, for sure. We might not touch on, well, we kind of touched on Star Trek in a little bit in the
Yeah, we might not touch on Star Trek again.
that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, I think that sounds great. We
But
still
you think it's
got
going good so far?
this is great. Again, the cool thing is that because we have it broken into segments like this, I can even like put it's like okay, for this 20-minute segment, it's just like you said, mom's comfort movies, and then just like Star
Yeah.
Wars versus Star Trek debate though.
No,
No,
and
this
I like
is
what we're talking about.
well, I need to actually get slash go to that group that you're part of, that cool movie group, because I don't know, I have a feeling I'd probably either get along really well with those guys or I would recommend them stuff versus them like,
So
oh,
so so David's actually he's we're actually in Play It Again Music
okay,
together. Play It Again Music was the used record store in
yeah.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And that's the music. And then every weekend we have like a theme thing.
David
Have to
Troutman,
post
right?
songs for the theme. Yeah, David Trotman.
This is a different David. This is
It's
Troutman.
it's Traupma, I think two N's. And he's bald with glasses, beard, looks like a bigger guy.
Okay. Troutman. Well, you know what? Again, I'm sure I'll add him. We'll be buddies and whatnot.
Well, I can introduce you to for like Play It Again Music. You can join that.
Well, it's
I thought you were
fun.
in Play It Again Music already.
I don't. It's because I feel like I would see their stuff and I haven't no seen it,
Now,
so I'm
see, the
gonna
movie
have them.
stuff, it's more obscure stuff. It's more obscure horror that
Oh,
some of
and
his friends are in that have joined their obscure horror stuff.
that's what I love. Like Chopping Mall. Have you seen that?
No, but I mean, it was out, when it was
I
out in the 80s.
Yep. It basically giant Roombas gain sentience that or they're supposed to be like mall security bots, but gain sentience and they have death lasers for some reason because they have to
Okay, did
protect
this
the
come out
mall.
after RoboCop
Maybe actually might be a thing.
or before?
This was Joe Bob did like a little segment on it. But no, it's cool
Oh
that
yeah,
all
that's
these
totally
guys
Joe
live in
Bob.
Pennsylvania because I think that'd be a fun little road trip. I don't know if you know, one of the things I always want to go to Pennsylvania for is they have the largest buffet there called Shady Maple Smorgasbord.
What city?
Uh, oh God, I have to take a look though. But the whole point
Yeah,
is
David.
it's in Dutch Amish country.
So that is not far from Bethlehem where David lives.
Maple. Yeah, it's in
Lancaster.
Pennsylvania Dutch. Where is it? It says it's in
Bethlehem's near Allentown.
East Earl,
I don't know how close that is.
Lancaster County. I don't know.
Let me see how close
It's gonna end soon. I'm gonna send you, I would love to send you some videos. You just watch it and tell me what you thought because I think you might like Red Letter as well as I've always just want to go there. It's just like it's one of those like travel things where like I've always wanted to go and maybe make an episode. So I'll show you. Do you like Man vs. Food? Kinda.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Do you like the guy who's on it?
How far is East Earl from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania?
Well, and again, Mom, I know I gotta treat you like every other guest, so I'm gonna thank you again 1,000 times. Seriously, thank you. This has been awesome. Just kind of have some time to catch up and talk about movies and whatnot, comfort stuff, stuff you've enjoyed. We talked a lot about comfort movies. We kind of talked a little bit about how maybe there was another movie you wanted to mention, but you want to talk about some other time. There was No Country Old Men.
Yeah, No Country for Old Men. So people that know me know I'm a big fan of the Coen brothers. I saw Blood Simple when it came out in the movie theaters. I'm in a fantastic Coen brothers movie group on Facebook, but I don't know if I can say they kind of cross the line. They could be my favorite movies, my favorite Coen brothers films. They also could be comfort films, but my two are definitely on their opposite ends of the spectrum for westerns. One is the Coen brothers version of True Grit. The other one is their modern western, No Country for Old.
Right. Which, if I'm not mistaken, is Blood Simple also a John McCarthy novel too?
I don't think Blood Simple's Cormac McCarthy. I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, No Country for Old Men is definitely based on a Cormac McCarthy novel, who Stephen King says is one of our greatest novel. I think he died a few years ago, but um, Stephen King has a lot of respect for him.
Right, right. Yeah, no, and again for everyone who's not too familiar with Cohen's, I mean she said a couple of them though, but that's the guys who've done Fargo, Big Lebowski. I think they had like the recent was like Hail Caesar. Did they also do was it just a segment in the Cowboy Tales of whatever the heck his name is?
Oh, the Bella Buster Scruggs was like a some vignettes.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was, I think it was like five Western tales that were really fantastic and fun to see different actors that had never been in their films before.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely though. No, yeah, they kind of can do it all a little bit. They make good stories though, make weird, compelling characters though, but also like just shoot solid movies though. I mean, do you want to talk more about no country? You want to talk more about True Grit though? Because I know some people are pretty diehard Wayne fans. So to say that you almost maybe prefer their version versus the Wayne one might step on some toes. You want to defend yourself?
So I probably saw the True Grit Wayne version when it came out when I was a kid. I don't really remember it that much, but I remember your friend from high school got us into a preview for True Grit, and I just loved it. It was just the nice little details in it, and it was just such a fantastic film. And later on, I don't remember how many times I saw the movie before I read the book,
Hmm.
but the the movie is such a faithful adaptation of the great novel by Charles Portis that you can hear when you read the book, you can hear the script in the book. And I think that's what makes it a superior, not just their work and the camera work and the music by Carter Burwell. Of course, I have to mention that Roger Deakins was the cinematographer for that film, but it's just so much more elevated above John Wayne's version, which did get him his finally got him his Academy Award. No, wait, or was that for Rooster Cogburn? I don't remember. Maybe it was True Grit. I think it was True Grit. He got his Academy Award. But it's a fabulous book, and anybody, even if you're not into westerns, it is a great read. I think it's one of the great American novels that people just need to discover.
Oh, we're talking about True Grit still or No
Well,
Country?
yeah. I'm talking about True Grit.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the novel is a great novel, and you can hear the script from True Grit in the novel.
Hmm. Okay.
When you watch the I finally thought, I gotta put my money where my mouth is. I gotta watch the John Wayne version. And when you watch the John Wayne version, there's no recognizable dialogue in the book until the courtroom scene.
It just feels
And
like a John
that's
Wayne movie at that point, right?
yeah, it feels like a John Wayne movie. It doesn't feel like the gritty West. Well, we've had a big renaissance in the last decades for more realistic westerns. And I think True Grit is just a fabulous movie that just everyone needs to watch because it's just the writing, the cast, the acting, the costumes that just lovingly make this movie, the sets, just everything about it. It's so crafted so.
It just feels like handmade. Like they knew the source material, they knew the tone it had to be, and they did it again flawlessly, or at least as best as the Coens can, which again to say is very well.
And it's uncanny because 11 Academy Award nominations, it did not win.
Hmm. Makes me think
But
like
I
what was
think
playing at that year then for that to happen.
I don't know. I think that is though when it came out though that Roderick James is the Coen brothers. So every movie until True Grit, if the Coens got nominated for editing, it showed this guy named Roderick James was this strange picture of this old man. They just didn't want to say that they were their own editors. But when True Grit came out, they said, "Yeah, we edited it. We did our
Oh, I mean, I see why. That this was a hard year to fight against. We
yeah,
have The King's Speech, Black Swan, The Fighter with Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg. The Social Network, Toy Story 3. Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff here though. So yeah, man, that's hard. And I get Inception, I guess, came out same time. Oh yeah, so yeah,
Yeah,
there's holy crap, yeah, dude. I mean, not to say it was a bad movie. It was really, really good for all the reasons you mentioned though, but just like that is really unfortunate when it's like, I don't know, the whole year it sounds like everyone was just like going hard. Everyone else was doing so good that oh man.
and the cast, Haley Steinfeld,
Steinfeld.
Steinfeld. They said that if they didn't cast her, if they didn't find her, they wouldn't have made the movie because she makes the movie. Just the way she does her dialogue, the way she has that, she knows everything and she has that confidence. It just makes, and she holds her own against Matt Damon. She holds her own against Jeff Bridges. There's that great scene where she's doing the horse trading with the livery owner. And if people are into watching, what's your sister's favorite TV show? Uh,
Gilmore Girls?
Gilmore Girls. That I think he's the principal at Rory's school, but
Okay.
he does a fantastic job trying to hold up against her, and she just ramrods all over him. But it's just such a it's the costumes. I heard that they had a hard time figuring out a coat for Rooster's character to wear. He
Mm,
felt like you with your hat when you did your first play.
yeah,
When he put that coat on, he became Rooster.
that's funny.
And just the when Matt Damon plays LaBeef and he bites his tongue. He put a rubber band around his tongue so he would talk funny. I mean, it's just those little details. Mary Zophres does all the costumes for all their films, and just everything is just westerns. When westerns were done in the 50s and the 60s, everybody looked like they bought their clothes from the store.
Yeah, it didn't
The
look
clothes
like
really look, yeah,
shitty. Like,
they look handmade, they look dusty, they look worn, they look dirty. Barry Pepper plays a great job of playing a bad guy, but a bad guy that kind of looks at what's fair. And he plays Lucky Ned Pepper, and he has those woolly chaps, and they just look like he's been wearing them for a couple weeks. It's those nice little. And again, we had that lovely Carter Burwell score. I was really disappointed when he was nominated. That a lot of critics said, "Oh, it's nothing new. It's kind of what you'd expect for a western." Well, that's what you expect for a western. You've got a great piano score. It's lovely. Roger Deakins, who I just idolize. He's one of the best DPs. Yeah, he's just one of the great cinematographers out there. He there's some beautiful fades when they're going. There's no dialogue and they're going through the woods, and you see the trees fade into something else, and it's just a beautifully shot film. Just I think that's where it's a comfort for me too. Is it's kind of everything's just all laid out. It's the score, it's the cinematography, dialogue, the cast, it's the look of the film. It's just a beautiful film, and I really wish more people would watch it because I mean John Wayne's True Grit was a product of the era.
mm.
This True Grit is the best neo western modern film. That's what I think.
No, and what is it about Westerns that kind of make the narrative so compelling? Because I mean, like you said, it's the kind of back in the day where they almost became like night movies, where there was a good, there was an evil. There's actually a YouTuber I was watching who was kind of mentioning how a lot of people when they think cowboys, they think like again like almost like this night quest. It's like they're gonna go and do something, and there are good guys and they're bad guys, and the good guys beat the bad guys. And then the good guy gets the girl, he lives happily ever after. So that's not the case in Westerns. In Westerns, again, the whole Manifest Destiny area was very, I don't want to say muddy because it was just violent. It was just violent and shitty and dirty and like, I don't know, you have any thoughts as far as like, I guess why that setting makes such a compelling story? to people, or maybe why?
We're a younger country. We don't have knights in all those battles in history. We have cowboys. And it was so romanticized. And I think I always like having things, oh no, so it wasn't like that. You know, you grew up watching all these westerns on TV when you were a kid in my era. I'm going to be 64 in June. And you know, all these neo westerns kind of prove no, it wasn't like that. They didn't look like they bought their clothes from a store. Things were ugly. Women were treated badly. Native Americans they were black cowboys. There were a lot of black cowboys. They were Mexican cowboys. It was so cleaned up and sanitized and white. I love the whole idea of these westerns now that show more what it was really like. That kind of we have these false idols and no, this is what it was really like. I guess I like when that happens.
No, I think we kind of both came to the conclusion though, like you said, I think it's just we didn't have the history. We didn't have our knights. So we made our knights, we made our history to say, yeah, we were training the American wilderness, we were stopping the savages. And again, I think this is the juxtaposition as far as like what the history we were told was, or the entertainment that we consume, saying, "Oh, it was like this," and then but this is the real story. I mean, I think everyone can get behind of a this is the real story vibes of something where it's like, "Oh man, this is great," but not because it's awesome what's happening. It's great because it's like we're actually like bringing this realness to light, and we're not shying away from what really went on, though. There's something about that.
No, that's a good point. There's so many good neo westerns out there now. There's Old Henry is one we were talking about before. What a veteran of Coen Brothers films, Tim Blake Nelson plays a farmer who has some skills that no one really realized. I don't want to give the big plot away, the big twist, but he's not who you think he is. And
Mm,
it's just a great story. It looks like they shot it for very little money. And it's a fantastic story, and everyone looks like they haven't bathed for a couple weeks. And I like realism. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's just that realism in things now. It's
yeah.
a great movie. I really highly recommend Old Henry.
No, definitely. Well, at least look into t checking that out, though. Definitely an easy sell for sure. Okay. Well, that was Old Henry, but also True Grit. What about No Country for Old Men? Because we talked about how that's again a bit more modern, a bit more. Can we say gray, considering it's just really, really different and really bad? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
So yeah, it's a downer of a film. It's not a film that's going to make you feel better. It doesn't have a happy ending. I kind of almost like to. It's almost kind of not quite watching in Bruges, but you know, it- it's a great story. It's written by the great Cormac McCarthy, A No Country for Old Men, and you got Tommy Lee Jones leading a great cast. Josh Brolin, I think, does some of his best work he's ever done. I mean, he's fantastic in True Grit. Don't
Mhm.
get me wrong. I want to add real quick his character in True Grit. You can't quite figure out if he's stupid or he's trying to play stupid.
Mm,
To this day, I still can't figure it out. But he is so good as just this everyman Llewellyn in No Country for Old Men. He looks like he's born in the part. I can't imagine anyone else playing him. He looks like someone that existed.
mm,
Just everything, the cinematography, again, the music. It's got such a good cast. Woody Harrelson is fantastic in it, and I got to shout out to some of the minor people in it. There's a guy named Gene Cook who plays the scene with Anton Chigurh with at the gas station.
mm. Oh yeah, yeah.
This guy's a character actor. Yeah. Yeah, when
Yeah,
they
the
flip
the
the coin.
cult.
That whole scene is just fantastic.
It's
It's
tense.
just
Yeah.
but it's those little details that the Coen brothers put in that I really appreciate. That scene, maybe that scene didn't need to be in there, but that scene just shows what this guy is risking and doesn't even know what he's risking. He's
Hmm.
risking his life. He doesn't. I don't think he's even aware of it till near the end, and it's just
And just like he said, there's like you've been playing the game. They just didn't realize it though. Just the
yeah, exactly. And then again, my Coen Brothers movie group. I don't remember her name, but the lady at the trailer park where where Llewellyn and his wife lived. A lady, I can't say that.
I
A lady
can't say
the
that.
lady that will not tell him where Llewellyn works or give him any I cannot give you any information
Sir.
with her beehive.
Hmm.
I and everyone writes a lot about her character because she stands up to him and she doesn't let down and he doesn't kill her.
Yeah,
Does he not kill her because he respects her? Does he not kill her because she stands up to him? Does she not kill her because there's someone nearby? People have also commented on that, but just that little scene, this woman, who knows what she's ever done. She's just
exactly.
fantastic in this little scene. It just gives a little bit more of Anton's character with just a regular person. And it's so, to me, that's the little details that the Coens do that just make their films so special.
And it's funny again, we're choosing two Coen Brothers movies though, because there's just so many good choices to choose from. I mean, there really are like just really, really, really solid choices here. And they just keep making better and better ones. Like it's great. It's like that they can do drama as well as comedy just flawlessly. Like they can again be as funny as again we got like the dude who is just smoking weed the whole time, doesn't really understand like what the heck's going on. Though he's like, "Hey man, I got a beverage here," you know. And then we get the seriousness of the gas station convenience worker with Anton, and like you said, it's he has no idea what's happening, has no idea like what this man has committed and is willing to commit. It's like it's I don't know. I think we went back to like maybe you saying like comedy and horror can exist. I think people who know how to do funny also know how to do tense, know how to do fear, know how to do scary because they know the opposite ends of the spectrum. Like I know what makes it funny, but I can also know what makes a scene tense.
And that's a good point. And I think maybe it's because there's two of them.
Yeah,
One adds to this and one adds to the other one, and uh one thing about No Country for Old Men that's fabulous is the scenery and the land. I feel like is another character in the movie.
absolutely.
I want to tell a story real quick that I think is so much fun. The Coens were doing some establishing shots
Okay.
to see what the scene when Llewellyn's hunting and he finds the money. They wanted to do some establishing shots to see what things. And this is West Texas. This is like Marfa. This
Mm.
is not. There's nothing out there in Texas, and they are doing some shots, and all of a sudden, this big old black plume of smoke comes up, and it's Paul Wes Anderson
There
is
will be
shooting
blood.
for There Will Be Blood, and they got in their shot, and it's almost kind of funny, but I mean, the scenery really is part of this film. Like this film could not take place anywhere but Texas.
Mm.
It's just like Texas is like the 10th character in the movie. That's that's what it's the whole package. Again, like I like to say, like it's in Bruges, it's the music, it's the scenery, it's the writing, it's the cast, it's the characters, it's those little scenes. It's just the whole package. It's like you got a puzzle, there's no missing pieces. Every piece is up there and it counts.
It's complex characters. It's things done well, shot well. And talk about just two banger movies. I mean, I think though, didn't they come out like the same time, No Country as well as There Will Be Blood?
Yeah, I think they did come around. And I saw There Will Be Blood and it was a great film. Doesn't mean that I liked it. I know enough that it was a great film, but the characters were so unlikable, and it doesn't mean that I'm so shallow. I can't like a film if I don't like the characters, but it just was a little too ambiguous for me.
Oh no, he's a
It just
psychopath.
it just didn't
It's
do it for me. It just didn't do it for me.
like at least with American Psycho when Christian Bale plays Patrick Bateman, like the whole point is it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be like again, it's like like I'm fucking crazy, but like look at all this stuff I'm doing versus again with There Will Be Blood. He's just I mean, straight like Rockefeller greed of just like what he's willing to do, what he's willing to give up though. And Daniel Day-Lewis, man, he can do it. Like, say what you will about the man, he's crazy, but the man can method act for sure.
We're going to get off topic for a second, but this is a great story. When Daniel Day-Lewis was making Gangs of New York with Martin Scorsese,
Yeah.
he stayed in those clothes the whole time.
Did he almost get like sick because he wouldn't change? He almost got like
No,
bronchitis or something.
so he got sick because he always stayed in those clothes. And I guess it got cold. Well, he got sick enough that he needed antibiotics. And he said, "Oh, I don't, I'm not going to have any antibiotics. I can't take any medicine because they wouldn't have had medicine in those days." And Martin Scorsese's like, "You're the star of the movie. Take the
Shut
medicine
the fuck
and
up and
just
take it.
get better so we can finish the movie." And I mean, method acting, I guess you got to respect that, but
You get to
that's
the point where
pretty
you're like, brother,
extreme.
come on. Yeah, that's
Yeah. He learned how to cut meat. He learned how to cut meat to make the film.
I know. It's
But
oh
I mean,
man.
but he just, he takes it to extreme. But 3 Academy Awards,
I mean, when you do it
can't argue with
good,
that.
when you do
Yeah.
it good. If you don't mind, I mean, I've been enjoying talking about Westerns because there's a couple movies where like and the problem is I really enjoy, well, there's two. There's one that I know we both like, and another one I know you haven't seen, but I feel like the second one doesn't get enough credit for as far as like the way the characters are made, the believability. But there is some gruesomeness to it. Well, I can see why people wouldn't want to watch this movie. Do you want to talk about the one we both know or the one that you probably think I'm talking about?
Let's touch on the first one first, and then we're gonna talk about Bone Tomahawk because I know enough about it for having not having seen it.
She knows talking about bonus topic. Near Dark.
Oh yeah, Near Dark is probably the only vampire western out there, and it's Catherine Catherine Bigelow is the one that directed that.
Did
Oh
she
yeah,
do
it's
American Psycho as well? She did a bunch of movies though, or Bigelow.
is it Catherine Bigelow? I'm trying to think. It's been
Yeah.
a long time since I've seen it.
Zero Dark 30, Hurt Locker, man. This woman has
Yeah.
been making movies.
Well, this is one of her earlier films, and you have the trifecta from Aliens. You've got Bill
Bill
Paxton,
Paxton,
you've got Lance Hendrickson, and you've got Jeanette Goldstein, who played um who
like
played everyone's favorite Marine in
like
Aliens.
Mendez, or the one that's just like, oh, I didn't,
Oh, the one that just I think every man who was in the Marines fell in love with her because she's just so tough.
yeah.
But it's a great film, it's kind of like a neo-western also. These kind of trashy vampires traveling around in a camper with foil over the windows, you
It
know, living
without
their
without
life.
spoiling it too much, do they ever say the word vampire in the movie too?
Okay, I haven't seen Near Dark in a long, long time. I don't remember
Let's see what Google
because it's been a
says.
while since I've seen it.
No, the word vampire is never spoken in the movie. Fuck yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So like what my mom said is there's this dumb shitbrick kid that falls in love with a pretty girl at a bar, and she's got a weird family, but he really likes the girl and he follows her, and they're like, "Get out of here, kid." And she really likes him, and they happen to find out they're vampires, but they never say vampires, but like the pacing of the movie, the tension of the movie, but also like the little like nuggets of just like lore that they drop, like they say things in the movie that like feel like they could be a whole nother movie on its own. The leader of this ragtag weird Manson family type deal says they're like, "How old are you?" He's like, "Well, I was a part of the Great War, you know. It was brother against brother." And he's like, "What side were you on?" He's like, "Oh, well, we lost." But it's just like that little like, okay, we're dealing with a Civil War vampire dude here. And then we got I think Bartholomew Bart, the child vampire who's like 80 years old, but he's like, I'm tired of being in this young body that's never growing. It's creepy. And then, like you said, they drive around the desert with tinfoil on the windows because and spray paint it so that way the sun doesn't burn them alive and cook them. It's a really sick movie. I think it was one of the flicks I remember. I don't know if I fell asleep to it exactly, but I had like the uh, commentary on, and they were going to make a remake of that movie in the 2000s. But I don't know if you're aware of this. But because Twilight came out, they're like, this is too similar. It's another vampire romance. We don't need another vampire romance. So they just got it and they went with it.
Yeah, Near Dark is such a classic. I guess from Aliens, Jeanette Goldstein and Vasquez. She played Vasquez in
Hey,
Alien.
Vasquez, that's it.
She and Lance Henriksen just had that great chemistry together, like they've been together forever. And so your mom has met Bill Paxton twice at her work. I've rented cars to him twice, and he's such a fantastic guy. And it was really sad when he passed. What happened? And he just is totally unhinged. He is the nicest man. The
He
second
plays a
time
bad guy. He plays a nasty, nasty
he
bad
is
guy.
unhinged. I mean, the second time I read him, when I rented him a car, he grabbed my hand across the counter and kissed it. I mean, I will never forget
Woo!
that as long as I live.
Bill Paxton,
But
stop flirting with
he,
my mama.
oh, well, he's gone,
I
honey.
know, I
But
know.
he is so totally unhinged in this film, and it's fun to see him let loose because the guy can do comedy, he can do drama. I mean, he's fantastic in A Simple Plan, which is a great Sam Raimi movie that's underdeserved. He's just fun to see him let loose.
So again, we say check it out. Yeah, I love me some horror, and again, I think there's not enough horror Western, but yeah, there's Near Dark, a great vampire movie. Bill Paxton again gets to play a real nasty bad guy. Again, check it out. We think you'll like it. You think you're good on it, or can we talk about Bone Tomahawk? You know, I always want to talk about Bone
You know what?
Tomahawk.
I can fake it.
You can fake it. Perfect. Okay.
Fake.
Everybody, Bone Tomahawk, what is the movie? So for anyone who doesn't know what Bone Tomahawk is, it is a horror western. Funny enough, I believe that when the oh goodness gracious, um, when the Hateful Eight was being made, like Kurt Russell was supposed to be in that movie. Like he was going to that movie but he wanted to do this picture really, really bad. Like he wants to make this happen because he likes the script. He just likes so much stuff about this Bone Tomahawk movie that he's like, oh, I'll find a way to work around it. We'll find a way to make it work. Um, to the point where I mean they only think I have like a month to shoot it. So when you watch it, really put that in mind that like, yeah, they only had like a month to really make out this movie though. But for the first hour, it's essentially about, I think it's a technically a remake. The story is the classic, cannibal savages, are taking the white woman and we got to stop her. But it doesn't frame it like these frame it like horrible, horrible monster people. Like, make no mistake about that. But the way that it's shot, the first hour is just the characters getting built. Just like, what's the town? Who were the people? Maybe who are the cannibals we're dealing with? We don't get like a really human side because they're really dark, evil creatures the way they're described. This is another native describing these bad guys. But just like the scene of just them just talking out, again, the town being the town and whatnot, it feels like alive. It feels good. So again, I cannot recommend it enough. It's great. It's madly entertaining. I definitely say it's a check out for sure. Um, I have to warn you, it's brutal. I know we talk about this a little bit. Do you know much about uh the scene I'm talking about or Bone Tomahawk in general?
I've heard a lot about that scene. I've heard a lot that's I can watch The Walking Dead. I can watch Ash versus the Evil Dead, but I'm afraid to watch Bone Tomahawk.
And to what my mom's referencing is it's called the wishbone scene. And that's all I need to say is if you know what
Oh
I'm talking
yeah.
about, that there's a thing about the wishbone scene. It's gnarly. It's real. It's I remember when I watched it happen, I was like, oh my God, this is oof, like this is rough. But with that being said, I mean it was also just such a like to get to like you get to care about the characters. Like this thing happens that you're like, oh my God, like I'm worried about these guys. I hope that they make it out of these guys though. To even that really messed up scene. To just again shows kind of like even when we eventually get to the point of oh we have to rescue these people, or we have to rescue somebody, it just gets to this like point where like the characters become very what's the word? Complicated, gray. There's the guy from Lost, the main dude, the main John guy. I don't know if you know who I'm
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
the guy. Yeah, I can't think of his name. He's got dark hair.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100% though. He plays this guy again. He kind of seems like what people would think of, oh, the good old boys, as far as like this is, like the Wild West and whatnot. No, he's going to protect the white women, and he does some questionable things too. But it just makes you think like, okay, in the face of great evil, of like really messed up, horrific stuff, and then like the stuff he's doing, like who really, not who has it the worst though, but it's like, can we forgive somewhat evil for an ultimate evil? Is that something we still need to address? Does it again make sense for like the time of what it's in though? Just that kind of thing. Again, really phenomenal movie. Really cannot recommend it enough though.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
that makes a
blast to
lot of
watch.
sense. And what you were saying about them getting those the first hour, what does that sound like? The Seven Samurai, the Dirty
Yeah,
Dozen, the
yeah.
Magnificent Seven, getting the group together to save someone. I mean, that's why you care about them. You care about them or you hate them because you get that coming together to save someone. Now, one thing I got to ask you because I've been wanting to address this
Okay.
with this movie, but I've never asked you before.
Go
Is
ahead.
it anti-indigenous to that,
And it's funny when you said that because I was thinking about as I was describing, I'm like, am I just hating Indians? Is this episode? And I'm sorry, am I hating the natives? Yeah, I can kind of sounds that a little bit when we're saying it out loud, don't we? Is it anti-indigenous? I will say that, hmm, sorry, you got me thinking.
yeah, I dropped one on you without warning you.
No, hey, that's the kind of stuff we can appreciate on here. Uh, I think to a point it can. Well, no, I mean, is it bad to say maybe not because of? And it kind of sounds like we're dealing with more Uncle Tom type stuff, though. But it's like the person that's describing these people, describing these, the way that they describe it is that they're severely inbred. Like this is about, like we're talking about like generation upon generations of incest. We're talking about, well, again, I can't give it away, but like some of the things that are going on are horrific. I don't want to point it out. Again, it asks the question, um, when you look at quote unquote ultimate evil, like where do you draw the line? Where's the like, okay, this is not forgivable. This is something that needs to be addressed or needs to be taken care of. Again, I can't give it away, but there is a scene where you see one of the females that of the tribe, and it's again, it's rough. Again, it doesn't show too much about it. It just kind of the way it explains or it shows. It's like it's crazy. It can be rough for sure.
So it sounds like it could have been cannibalistic, crazy white people too.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say for sure.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to check that out because I think I'm starting to figure out what happened, but I don't want to say it. But
You know what?
eating brains gives you mad cow disease.
That's hilarious. Well, and that's the kind of the fun thing is they don't spend too much. Unfortunately, they become like the quote unquote bad people. Like I kind of hate like leaving it like that, like, oh, they're just, they're baddies, but it is like it's just unquestionable. It's like it's messed up. It's like this, yeah, this is kind of gross. This is kind of definitely a problem. This is like something that should not be quote unquote tolerated. You got me thinking. 'Cause now I want to rewatch it though with that kind of in mind though. Like, is it just being to the point where it's like it's super intolerant? And again, like, yeah, I don't know. Forgive me. I guess now you challenge me so much to the point where I'm like, huh,
Oh,
I have to think about that now.
I'm not justifying it, but I mean, if they're that isolated, generational inbreeding, cannibals, I mean, that could happen to any social group.
I mean, technically, when you brought up to the
I'm not
white
saying in a
people,
good way. I'm just saying,
well, no, you brought up what's it called? The hills have eyes, offensive, like disrespectful to white trash.
good point, Tristan.
There you go.
Yeah. It's one of those ones I will watch someday. I gotta watch it when I'm in the right headspace. Because I mean, again, I've heard just you talk about it, how much you like it, and of course, you learn from me. You have great opinions.
Thank
Um,
you. She didn't, I have to coerce her to say that, guy. She said on her volition. Amazing.
okay, so I'm gonna change the subject for just a minute. When you used to do stand up, that joke you used to tell about how I used to abuse you, and now you abuse your wife. It's pretty funny.
What she's referencing, guys, is that so the joke was basically that because my mom would have to tell me this unnecessary, like I didn't ask for it. I didn't say, hey, by the way, but she would always tell me movie trivia, like I said, that I never asked for. That was always the case, was movie trivia I never asked for. And she would
While
just,
we're watching the movie, while we're
while we're
watching the
watching the
movie at the same
movie,
time.
exactly. And unfortunately, the problem I have with my wife, what I do to Brit, is that I have to like if I hear a voice actor, I have to tell her like who it is or like oh that's
That's Phil Lamar.
yeah exactly like oh my God by the way yeah it's it's great it's really great uh yeah no so I'm just thinking about she's gotten better, and I will say something, and I didn't even have to coerce my wife to say this, but she said she has enjoyed the fact that kind of, I think you and Dad used to do this though, where you guys, some of the great memories you've had were about how you guys would just talk about, again, just the movies, just talk about like where this came from, and or why this is good, or like kind of like the deep, like philosophical meanings behind things though, and yeah, it's awesome. It's great. It's Um, and I appreciate us having this entire conversation because it sounds like I might have maybe convinced you to watch Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, yeah. I'm more likely to watch it now. And now that you told me about the wishbone scene, I know when to cover my delicate eyes. But I know it's a
Yeah,
great film, and I know so much about it, considering I've never seen it. And anything that's got good character development, a good story arc, redemption, that's a good story.
it's yeah. I guess if I could say one thing for everybody, just check out Bone Tomahawk. It's sick. I wish more people would watch it. More people talk about it. But I think, you know what, Ma, I mean, I appreciate just we've been having a lot of awesome conversations. I've been keeping you in that chair for a good couple of minutes, a good couple of hours. Yeah, no, this is great. As far as like um I'll maybe try to still send you a Mother's Day gift, but is this okay if this is our Mother's Day gift? Is you giving me an episode?
This is a great Mother's Day.
Mom, you're so awesome. You're so great. Isn't she great, everybody, though? Yeah, she's a cheap date for sure. Well, thanks very much for just coming on the show and talking about, again, like your loves and like your comfort movies. I know we kind of had some more out there decisions than what other people would normally choose. If maybe we can end on this is maybe two questions. First, like what makes a good narrative? Like what makes a compelling story? And then this is more of like a your challenge to the audience. Maybe why should you give maybe different and or like weirder, maybe not weirder per se, but just think different's the right answer. What is your advice for maybe recommending other people try to maybe watch more different films or be more open to films that they don't think normally on the surface they would enjoy, or maybe they would be like, I don't think I normally would like this. What's your challenge to them?
So, what I get you want to talk about what makes a good story first?
That's on you, Ma. That's I get
Yeah.
to.
So, what makes a good story is just character development. Character development, a good story arc. The character should learn something. You don't want to have necessarily always someone in the same place at the beginning of the movie as they were at the end of the movie. Sometimes that is going to happen, and then it's the people that revolve around them are going to have the growth
Mm.
or the crashing to the bottom. But I think it's a good story. It's just, we used to sit around the campfire and talk about when we were in when we were in living in caves. The men would go and chase the dinosaur with sticks, and we would be talking with the women around the fire in the caves with the children. We've always had storytelling. Storytelling is always going to exist, and just makes a good story. It's just that good character development, that good developing a character, someone getting redeemed, or someone not the opposite of being redeemed. That's what makes a good story. You want to see some growth,
I can't
you
couldn't be in
know.
more agreement with you as well. I think, and especially because of how, I mean, and we all get older, and time will continue to keep going on. But I feel like, especially with like the invention of the internet and like the term meta, like the meta-ness of it, or I think people are so aware of tropes now that there's always like a how can I subvert this? How can I tell maybe the same story but move some of the pieces around? How can I tell Rashomon, but it's all just from the bad guy's point of view? Maybe it's a good story. Maybe it's his redemption arc, though. I think we've gotten to a point nowadays where people have gotten more because of their knowledge of the storytelling and the technique and the talent that's already been set before, that people can tell these stories that maybe have been familiar, maybe have similar echoes, similar shades, but can still be unique and different enough where it's like, oh, this is new. This is something. So I agree.
I wish I still had the little booklet that came out of Premier Magazine, but supposedly almost every story is based on like what, five Greek tragedies,
Something like that, yeah.
something like that. So yeah, it's just how can we reinvent it? Always can be reinventing. Sometimes it's a better reinvent than others.
Yeah, amen. Absolutely. Well, again, I really appreciate at least you giving your thoughts and far as like what, compels a solid story. Again, thank you, Mom. Final question before I get you out of here. Probably the big one. I guess I don't want you specifically to answer it for this movie, but I guess I'm trying to angle it like Gentlemen Broncos is a very strange movie that you're like, give it a chance, definitely watch it. It's definitely not for everybody, but it is a solid flick. What's your like again advice for like get over it or really give different things a chance? Well,
So,
what's your advice?
I love the Avengers movies. They're fabulous films. I'm excited about the new one. But sometimes it's fun to try something new. Try that movie that's for the three people in the back row. Try something offbeat, try something different. You might surprise yourself and like it. Sometimes you want to eat those cheap Queen Anne chocolate covered cherries in the box with the real waxy chocolate. And it's like watching an Avengers film. And sometimes you want to eat some artisan chocolate, that has some cinnamon and chili in it, and it's like 78% cocoa powder, and that's that movie for the three people in the last row.
Yeah.
You want to watch something a little different. Everybody has a different kind of taste. I like big splashy movies too. I like stuff that's really commercial. But sometimes it's fun to see that little offbeat film and you discover things about it that you didn't know, or you're going to discover something that you may like that you didn't think you would like.
Yeah.
Everyone has different budgets for these movies. Everyone's making film. We watched a movie called Tangerine you asked me to watch.
That
That was
movie is
completely shot,
crazy.
and that guy went on later to direct the Florida Project,
Yeah.
and I think he directed Anora. But he
I think
did
so too.
Tangerine on an iPhone. That was shot on an iPhone, and it's a fabulous film. And he probably shot it for hardly anything. And look what he's got an Academy Award now.
Yeah.
So those little films, those little offbeat, little weird films, are kind of like mustard seeds. You never know how they're going to grow that talent. And I think it's
Interesting.
just go out of your comfort zone, watch something different. Risk. You don't like it, you don't like it. Try something else next time.
Oh, I like that. I think that's real solid. I'll even give a real life example. I've never seen Barbershop. When I think of the movie Barbershop, I think, oh my God, there's like the seven sequels. Not quite Fast and Furious movies, but maybe they could almost be on like Tyler Perry's radar as far as like caricatures. Brit's like, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. And I'm like, fine, put it on, and surprised, pleasantly surprised. It just feels like a very it almost feels like it's a comfort movie. Just for like as far as like you feel like you're sitting with a group of people, like a family, but you've always been a part of the family. You're a fly on the wall of this barbershop. And again, the characters are a little silly, sometimes a little one note dimensional, but it just surprised me how much like I kind of liked Ice Cube, who stars in it. I think he might even direct it too, but he didn't like make it about him. Like he was very much the like glue that held it together, but not so overbearing that he became like obnoxious to it. It was like really just like, oh, this is like a really just nice little movie together. Yeah, it says he did Barbershop. Well, no, he didn't direct it though. He just did.
He probably
Well,
produced it.
yeah, probably. All right, but no, yeah. So again, I will back up my mom. Try something new. Try Indian food. Try something else at the buffet. You know, you never know. I mean, I think sometimes we can have like you said, like that Marvel taste. I know we sound like so film snobby though, but it's like chicken strips are delicious. We all love chicken strips. I mean, we all eat chocolate, but I mean, try a steak. Try tiramisu. Try calamari. Not everyone's gonna dig it though, but you just might be surprised when you take that bite and you're like, I like this. This isn't bad. So
Try that shrimp with the Thai seasoning, not the shrimp with the Cajun seasoning.
exactly, exactly. And I think what my mom's trying to say is like broaden your horizons. Watch more foreign films. Get over subtitles. Mike, you know who you are. Get over it. Read the subtitles. That's my one shout out.
$10 shout out.
Maybe I could shut down and shout down. Like I don't think I'm being like really positive about it. Like if he happens to listen to this, though, he'd be like, "Why are you picking on me?" I don't know.
Oh, I got to add something since you brought subtitles up now. Another
Okay.
story. There was this great documentary that came out when you and your sister were little called The Story of the Weeping Camel. It was about a family that lived in Mongolia, and
I
their
freaking
lives
remember
revolved around
this.
their camels because the milk, and they rode them, and I think they had a runt that was born that they had to take care of, and it was them taking care of their runt and not letting it die. And I remember thinking, okay, this is you guys' experience to see a foreign film. It's not going to be difficult, but you guys got to practice reading with the subtitles. So I like to think that seeing something with subtitles at such a young age for you guys to practice reading was a good thing, and that made you guys realize that, hey, maybe this isn't so bad.
I think I might have blacked out this. I remember this movie. When you said Story of the Weeping Camel, I almost became a sleeper cell. I'm just like, oh my God, memory unlocked. Like, I freaking remember this movie. I remember, I think you were like, Tristan, right? Like I had to write like some essay or something. She's like, just write about this. Just write no, I might need to go back and give this a chance on now that I'm a bit more film smarter, I guess. I'm more refined. My palate's more refined. I might be able to appreciate it more. But neat. Okay. Sign
Yeah,
check out.
make your kids watch foreign films and age appropriate foreign films, age appropriate silent movies to practice reading when they're little.
No, Pulp Fiction at age one. Just right
Oh
out the
no,
womb. Just
no,
like
the new grandchild coming. No, he's not going to be watching Pulp
I'm
Fiction,
gonna
not
get
for a long time.
medieval. I'm gonna get medieval on their ass, mom. Straight medieval. All right. You got anything else to say, mama?
No, but this was fun, and I appreciate the chance we've only got to do this. Everyone knows how opinionated I am, and also what I know about films, and it's kind of, I'm sorry, it's nice to get it out there.
You know what's fun? I think people are gonna listen to this and be like, I like you were so much more reserved. Like I think before they expect more like bah, but like you're like when you just get a nice solid hour to chew on what you want to say, like you're like, huh, yeah. Once I can walk it out, it's fine. You know, it's gotta walk it out.
We covered a lot of topics.
We did. Well, like I say, this has absolutely been a blast. Again, Mom, I appreciate you coming on the show, though. And to everyone who's listening, though, have a happy Mother's Day. I don't want to be that guy. Some people don't have mothers. Some people have lost mothers. cherish the family you have, and to the people who aren't even related, like mothers don't have to be blood related. They can be strong, wonderful women in your lives. Tell a mother that you know and you love, thank you. And share a little fun conversation, share a story, share a dinner. Well, guys, you know the story, you know the drill. I've been Tristan. This has been my mom, Maureen, and she's anything but an ordinary person, but she's an extraordinary mother. That might be it. The ordinary. And so we'll play around with that. OPEM or something. But I love you, Mom.
Love you too, honey.
Take care, guys. Good night. And we are done.
Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. The show is now over. It's time to get yo. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. Time for shut eye. Get your ass to the story. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. Trishy went to bed, but Trekkie still flowing. Ordinary people, extraordinary stories. The lights are going off, this microphone I'm throwing, you know it.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to another episode of Ordinary People, Extraordinary Stories. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please click the description below to look into our Patreon. I want to give a shout out to our exclusive patrons who've been donating to the channel. Again, I want to give a shout out to Courtney, Tamsin, and Richie. Without your help, we wouldn't be able to make these fine episodes, so thank you again. And for anyone else that's listening that believes they or they know somebody who has a very extraordinary story to tell, please feel free to email me at OPESpodcast@gmail.com. That's OPES, acronym for Ordinary People, Extraordinary Stories, OPES, podcast, one word, @gmail.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and again, thanks for listening, guys. Take care.